Live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live Antwoord Movie Mania. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about something that I've always loved to watch. And my special guest today, I'm hoping, is going to give us a full insight to how everything is done. So, with that being said, I would like to welcome to the channel from Attitude Pro Wrestling, the basic bitch slayer, Rubi Robert.
Hi, nice to meet you. How's it going?
I'm going well, thank you. I'm glad we're getting this done today. I know last
Yes.
time we had a lot of technical issues, so
Yeah.
I'm, yeah, so I'm so happy that we're getting this done. So first off, my first question is: would you like to explain to everyone who you are and what you do for a living?
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Ruby, or my full title is Ruby Roberts, the basic bitch slayer. I am a pro wrestler who has been operating out of Scotland for about 6 years now. I wrestle across Europe, including Denmark, Sweden, England, around the UK, and I am hopefully going to venture further soon. And the majorly important part is that my entire gimmick is based around Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Well, that is something else because we are going to be doing another live video, which I hope you are up for. Um, where we are going to discuss a full Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like everything, as much as we can get into. And oh, you can.
I remember, so yes, I am quite old. The
How
makeup is deceptive.
how old are you?
I'm
Just for
33. I'll be
30.
34 this year. Yeah.
All right, okay.
Um, oh yes, it's quite funny actually. I also have an 18-year-old son, so that gets quite confusing for people when we're out in public and they're like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm his mum." But yeah, so I remember the introduction of Kane. China. I remember watching China run in looking like some random from the audience, coming in and then being just the biggest influence on me, like during the
Yeah.
90s and the 2000s. Um, but yeah, those are like my two sort of. I remember that really clearly. It was those two people being introduced and being like, "Oh, I want a bit of that. That's me. That's me over the back. This is yep. I'm fully invested now."
Yeah, I know, but for China, there was obviously you had Mae Young, Moolah,
Yeah,
that was that generation. But for China, she was like the Attitude Era,
yeah,
inspiration for a lot of women to breaking barriers and winning the first women intercontinental championship.
yep. First
What?
women to really be allowed to compete in sort of a similar league to the guys, to be allowed to sort of venture into their space, which I think was why. See, for me, that was a really big thing. Like I'd seen other women's wrestlers, but the a lot of the women's wrestling at the time when I was sort of growing up wasn't necessarily the most
Bra and panties matches, yeah.
yeah, like as much as like I'm sitting there as like a younger girl watching it going, I mean, yeah, that's cool, you're both hot. I don't really want to do that specifically, but then I saw China and Lita and a couple other women who were like doing it their way and doing it more like the guys, and I was like, "Oh, that's me. I've got 5 brothers. I scrap like I am trying to fight for my life, and that's how I want to fight. I want to fight boys, and I want to do that." And yeah,
Royal Rumble pay per view. Because
that's
obviously
it.
you've got. Because what one thing that people obviously when you, because this is one thing I try to bring up to people, you've got the trilogies of The Rock and Austin, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and Undertaker and
Yep.
Triple H, but you never hear anyone talk about the triple main event that The Rock and Mankind had during the 98, 99, because you
Yep.
had the I Quit match at the Royal Rumble. For me, that's one of the best I Quit matches, hands
Oh,
down.
hands down.
Like it's
I
just
I
yeah.
I'm one of those people. I have guilt. See, when it comes to Foley, especially, I have like goggles on. I'm just like, he can do no wrong. He is the man. I remember watching his matches as a child, especially. I remember the was it Hell in a Cell where he lost his ear,
Yeah.
and I remember watching that on a VHS tape that
I,
someone had ripped from the TV after someone else had paid for the pay per view.
Do you know what? In my man cave, because like I'm in the conservatory at the minute, because my internet doesn't go in the garage.
Yeah.
But I've got like I don't know if you've checked this out on the channel or not, but obviously you must remember Blockbuster Video.
Yep.
So when that shut down, still not over it. I can't get like for a lot of people, I'm sure. Like the one thing I do miss, because like I'm a very 80s and 90s person. Like I just love my VHS.
Yep.
I'd love to just go to a video shop, look at videos for hours. Right?
Yeah, like, I don't know if you so I live in a very small town, so our video shop was like a wee local owned one. But it was like you went in, you had all your VHSs, you had your 64 cartridges that you could also rent out, and some like PS1 games, things like that. And then there was also like your wee snacks bit. So you could
Yeah,
go in, you could like get your snacks for the night, you could get your DVD or your entertainment, you could get your game, and like you were sorted for the full evening. It was great.
yeah. Like I had one. Actually, I had well when I was littler, I had two video shops, and then obviously in my teens, I had another one at the bottom of my road. So
Yeah.
like growing up, like I had video shops like all around me, but there was I'll tell you a that story. Like I'm just going off Preston for a second. So I'm a massive fan of the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Like Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno, they're like my two like standard Banner and Hulk. It like that can't be them two. So when I was little, I used to go to the video shop every single day to rent the original The Incredible Hulk,
Yep.
like the the feature length pilot episode
Yeah.
for £1. You know, Mum was like, "Oh, I'm getting sick of you renting it for £1. You're the only person who must rent that video. Just go in and ask if you can buy the damn thing." just so I was like, right. I got my money. I went in. I was like, what the hell? So the place had been robbed.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah, and they took the Incredible Hulk. I was like,
Absolutely no luck.
oh, I was like, I was devastated. So, so for years, because obviously we didn't have like internet streaming services. You didn't have Netflix. You didn't have nothing like that. So
No.
I was looking on car boot sales, markets, putting ads in newspapers.
Yep.
I was like, I want this.
I was literally explaining this to someone yesterday, because they were born after 9/11. So, like, do you know that way? That's like the dividing line, I think,
Yeah,
for people within that kind of age range. It's like, do you remember this happening? Yes or no? And then I'm like, right, okay, you will remember X, Y, or Z. I was literally like talking about the fact I was like, we have Netflix now, we have Disney, we have all of
yeah,
these subscription services. We have wrestling at our fingertips. We have IWTV and it's on Netflix now, and like there's a million and one different streaming services or websites you can get these things on. Whereas when we were younger, you literally had to either get someone to rip it off the TV for you on a VHS,
yeah,
rent it out, or actually pay for the pay per view, or like you said, absolutely hunt it down by all manual means, newspaper, writing letters, asking your
yeah,
friends, car boot sales, just to be able to watch wrestling. It's so much easier now than it ever has been because everything's at your fingertips.
yeah.
We don't have to work the way we did.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because like just to finish the Hulk story, right? So I finally found it at a boot sale and got home. It was in the casing and everything. And then I got in, opened it up, and it was the cartoon version. I was like,
Oh, I'd have been raging.
I was like, no. But then obviously then it all came out on DVD.
Mhm.
So God, I had boxes and boxes and boxes of VHS, and so obviously when DVDs came out, they were better quality. So I pretty
Yeah,
much got rid of a lot of VHS, which I still now regret big time.
same.
And then I ended up getting rid of a load of DVDs because I was like, I haven't got the space for it. But now, well, I've been buying loads of DVDs again because like you think when you've got the film, you're like, oh, I'm never going to watch that again. But then you're like, well, I've got nothing to watch. I could just pick and pick.
Exactly.
And then when
The other
Netflix,
thing is,
yeah,
it's the way everything's going. Like, for example, last night my son wanted to play the Deadpool game, the original Deadpool game, the one that's not like licensed by Disney. And
that on the
I
Xbox,
had, yeah,
yeah,
and I had recently gotten rid of the disc because I
yeah,
was like, "Ugh, I've
yeah,
not played this in years. It's just taking up space. I'll just trade it in." Turns out you can't get that anymore.
really,
Yep, because it's not licensed by Disney, they no longer have the license for the franchise, so you can't get the game on Xbox anymore, and it turns out physical copies are really hard to get a hold of, and I
yeah,
got £2 for it.
yeah, like yeah, I've seen a few like Deadpool in CEX a few weeks ago, and that was like about 40, 50 quid, something like that. I was like,
They gave me £2 for it.
£2.
Mhm. And then I found out afterwards how much it was actually worth. I was like, "I should have stuck that on eBay." And raging.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same with like when Netflix came out, then they got rid of blockbusters. But then the one thing I hate about so I was like, so when Netflix came out, I had Netflix. I was like, oh, I've got all these mid films on it. I'll get rid of all my DVDs because they're on there. But then after so long, they take them off. They're just
Yep.
constantly reshuffling, taking them off, and and I'm like, well, I
The
don't.
thing that gets me is the re-editing.
Yeah,
That's especially, I know we're gonna discuss that in another, live, but
yeah, yeah,
if you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer on DVD versus Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Disney, it's been re-edited, retouched. There's full scenes missing. There's bits and
yeah,
pieces that have been cut up and changed. And like, if you're an obsessive fan like myself, then when you rewatch it, you sit and do that way. It's just like, that
yeah.
didn't happen like that. Why is it suddenly daytime? That was at night, and like,
Yeah, I don't like how they've brightened it all up. That's one thing I hate. That's
it was the HD remaster when they did that. They had to remove all of the original filters that were put on to like make it look like nighttime,
yeah,
and they just never reapplied them. They just put it
yeah,
through an HD filter and then let it go. So half of the nighttime scenes are now daytime scenes.
yeah. But we'll get into all that
Yeah,
on
that
our
sorry.
Buffy because I've got a lot of Buffy stuff to talk about.
I was gonna say I could literally talk about that forever.
But yeah, yeah, back to blockbusters. So obviously I found because like I had some VHS still, but in my nana's loft, I was just rumbling through it all, and I found absolute stack of VHS that I didn't get rid of.
Oh,
So I was
excellent.
like, so I was over the moon. But since then, so I was like, I've always wanted a mini blockbusters, like blockbusters shelf. So I started like searching on the net for like, do you know, like what you'd see in like HMV where they like go down like that,
Yeah,
like where you can just like stack them like that, and it goes like either side, like old school VHS shelving.
yeah.
And like I looked on eBay and Amazon, and they were charging like a few £100 for one. And I was like, I don't want to spend that much
No.
for what I want to do with it. So I was like, so because like when I see things like that, and then that's when I mean, I'll admit I'm not the smartest person in the world, but
Me either.
but when I want something like that, like my brain gets racking, and I managed to find on Amazon for £40 eight tier shoe rack. You know, like just
Yeah.
so it was like double. It was like 4 on 4 like that. It was just all slanted, and I thought, well, that's just looks exactly like one. So
Aye.
like yeah, so I built it up, placed all my VHS like that. So I've got like an 8 tier VHS shelf rack. And I was like, how can I make this better? Like I want to make it like a proper blockbusters. So I went to the library and I Google blockbuster sign, copy pasted it, printed it off. So I've got like a big blockbuster. I've got a laminate sheet, like I've got a
Excellent.
laminator. So I just laminated the big blockbuster sign, and I was like, I want to make it better. So I went back to the library,
Aye.
and then I printed off like all the sections: action, comedy, sports, and then cut
Mhm.
them out, laminated them all into circles, and then printed them and put them on. And I was like, I want to make it better. So I
Yeah.
went back. so, so I had a couple of blank VHS cases, and I found out if you go on Google, you can just you can copy and paste the Blockbuster rental cases.
Yeah. And you can
So
slip it into the wee sleeve.
yeah, so that's what I did. I made 3 Blockbuster rental case sleeves. And then I printed and laminated my own little Blockbuster membership cards.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I mean, if
Is
you
it
check
like a
it, like
proper wee station?
yeah. So it's like a proper Blockbuster shelf with the
Nice.
um. And then obviously I got a Blockbuster game, like a trivia game. You get like the little plastic Blockbuster stand and everything with it.
Yeah.
So like, I put that with it. So I have got like my own little Blockbuster shelving unit, like 8
Oh, that's
tier.
awesome.
Yeah. But then obviously if you go on like charity shop, because I love to charity shop hunt.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like love to do because the amount of stuff I've got out of charity shops. But there is like a couple of shops that like near where I live that they have like stacks of VHS.
Yeah.
So like every now and again they'll just send like loads of like they'll get loads of VHS donations. So I'll just like I'll just get loads.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. I'm assuming by the accent that you're near Manchester.
Middlesbrough.
Right. There's a wee like collectible shop in Manchester. I'll get the name of it and I'll send it to you. That's owned by the family of a wrestler that I know, and it is utterly fantastic. Like they have a section that's just all wrestling stuff, but then they have everything that like all forms of media that you could think of. It just like utter wee cave of wonders for
Yeah,
stuff like that, like old VHSs.
yeah. I was in Manchester last year. Is it? Do you have to go like down 2 flights of stairs to get to it?
No, but I know what one you're talking about. That one's also awesome. This is slightly further away. There was like a 10-minute walk from where that one is.
Uh,
I'll get my best friend lives in there. I'll get the address for you and I'll send it to you because this wee place, it's in a wee alley and it's just like a wee offshoot, tiny wee shop that you wouldn't think to look at unless you knew what it was. And then when you go in, it's like this little cave of wonders. It's fantastic. Like I've had all sorts of VHSs, old 64 games, all sorts for as cheap as like a couple of pound, depending on whether they've got the cases or not.
yeah.
All the way up to like really good collectible stuff that's still got like the original plastic on it.
All right. Oh, well, do you know what? I'm actually going to Manchester in October to yeah, you'll probably heard of it, For the Love of Horror.
Yeah. Oh, I can't go this year and I wanted to.
Yeah, I've never been before, so obviously like I've been wanting to go for years, but I've never got the chance to go. And this year you've got Matthew Lillard, Skeet Aldridge, Jamie Kennedy, Nick Castle. So like them are the big
Yep.
four that I want to meet and get like stuff set like my Scream VHS and my Halloween VHS signed. They're like
Yeah.
they're like the
Scream's like one of my other big things. It was like my first horror film. I love it. Like absolutely love like Skeet and Matthew are like when I was younger, I was that weird girl when I was younger who everyone else was like, "Oh, I love Brad Pitt." Ooh, and I was like, "I want Matthew Lillard. I want the killers from Scream."
do you know what? There was a. I mean, well, obviously, if you check the channel, I've done like loads of Scream content. I did
Yeah.
live streams with someone, like, and I've done. But there was a website that had done like a Scream board game. So I was like, I'm not paying a few £100 for it, so I just copied and laminated it and just printed. Like, I shouldn't have really, but then I found out that you can. I was like, I wonder how hard that must be to like make. And then I had to look into it and it's not hard at all. So I found out you can download blank Monopoly boards,
Oh,
like just like the outline of the frame.
yeah.
And I was like, right, I'm going to make my own board games. So I ended up making a Fright Night one, like a Fright Night Part 1 and 2. So what I did was I just copied the blank Monopoly board, and then I just copy and pasted all the pictures
Yeah.
around it. And then I made a Halloween one. Like I put like all the posters of Halloween and like all different pictures around.
Yeah.
For the Halloween one, I did like a well, it's just like Monopoly game, like a trivia and like community chest one.
Mhm.
So like just say 2 years of playing, you've got the rules where you've got 3 lives, Then if you land on like a community chest, you've got to collect 5 items. There was a gun, a rope, a mask, a Haddonfield sign, and a Doctor something with Doctor Loomis, something like that. And if you collect like you go around, and if you collect all 5, you go into the middle, and
Mm.
then you've got to fight Michael Myers. So it's like the
Nice.
highest dice wins. If you're not, then you're back to the start.
Yeah.
But then with the trivia, I did like the trivia's from 1 to might have been Resurrection, I think, or H2O, one of the two. And then honestly, if you get that wrong, you lose a life. And then
Right.
like that, but like I mean, I sort of like I made like a few copies and like I sold 4. I mean, it only cost me like uh, about I don't know about £3 to make,
Yeah.
and I sold 4 copies to America, and I made like £200 off it.
There you go. Worth
but
doing then.
but then I got told to stop by the missus for copyright reasons and everything. So I was like, I mean, I made
Yeah.
£200 off £3, so I can't complain. Can't complain.
Exactly. It's only a small profit as well. It's not like you were breaking the bank or anything. So it's fine.
Right, let's get back into wrestling. We've
Yes.
promised straight off the track. Right. Saying that, speaking of VHS, in oh yeah, charity shop. Back to charity shop hunting for a sec. I got for free for £1. The Brock Lesnar Here Comes the Pain
Oh, nice.
free disc set and ECW Volume 2. It was like both were like 9 hours, the 3 disc sets, and
Yeah.
I got like both of them for like two for £1.
Oh,
Like
I love charity shops. Charity shops
yeah,
are, especially for wrestling, such a good resource because especially grannies don't know what they've got. See
yeah,
when they're clearing out like old cupboards and toy boxes and all these things, they have no idea how much any of it's worth. They just see wrestling nonsense and they pap it all into a charity shop. And you sometimes go in and there's literally like an entire box just full of intact figures, VHS tapes, all
yeah.
sorts. It's great.
So I actually went to a boot sale on Sunday, and I got this double disc,
Oh, nice.
right? Resident Evil 2 for PC. How much do you think I paid for it
Car boot sale,
on a car boot sale?
250.
20 pence.
Really?
20 pence.
What the hell?
Yeah. But 2 sec. Saying that, I got that for 20 pence as well. It's eight
That's
blank
pretty cool.
eight blank discs for like chipped PS1 games. So I
Nice.
know someone who can chip PS1 games, so I've got.
There we go.
But
It's always good to have a handy chip guy.
I'll show you. Hang on. So so without so without the I bought these two for £5 off the same boot sale, but without the glass on them, they're not. It devalues them. But I
Yeah.
got 4 for £5. Now I know you're into your comics and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I got the '89 Batmobile,
The cool one.
yeah, like Keaton's my man, like.
Yeah.
So I got that,
That's
and then
awesome.
so I got both of these for £5. Oh.
I've never seen one of them out in the actual wild.
Yeah, the '89 Batwing and Batmobile
That's so cool.
for £5.
This is where I just start geeking out because I also love Batman. I don't know if you can tell.
I mean, well, saying that, I actually got. What else did I get? I got a load of Star Wars films as well. Like
Oh, nice.
I got 6 Star Wars films for £1. Uh, I got that for £1. The screenplay.
Nice.
And last night at work, like in the charity bin, I got.
Classics. Oh, Matilda.
Yeah,
And the other Home Alone, the one with
yeah,
the other boy.
just a daft like couple of pence in the charity
Yeah.
donation box. But yeah,
I,
but I've
I
got.
like I said before, I think it's like it's a good idea to sort of store these things because with everything going digital, there's every chance things could get lost, corrupted, whatever,
No,
and then
yeah,
you don't have it anymore.
that's what I mean. That's the one thing I hate about. like Netflix and that, and like everyone's like, oh, well, don't go DVDs, we just do digital streaming and yada yada yada. As soon as your internet goes off, what do?
Exactly. Like
You cut off.
WWE are no longer producing physical media.
Yeah.
They're not doing it at all anymore. So it's all going to be what they've put on YouTube, The Vault, and Netflix. So if your internet's down,
Right, give me 2 seconds because I got on another boot sale. I went to another boot sale last week and I got something for £3. All right, £3. Stay with it.
interest is peaked.
Yeah, just ramble.
Really, there's nothing better than a good charity shop find, to be fair.
Ugh, I'm back.
Hello.
So for £3,
Oh, nice. I don't have that. I don't have that one. That is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, on Amazon or eBay, you can get the WrestleMania Attitude Era WrestleMania box set from 14 to 17.
Ooh.
So yeah, I think they're going pretty cheap. But like, I've been wanting to watch this match for ages, so I seen it for £3, and I was like,
Yep.
but then just many times about wrestling.
It's vaguely wrestling related, vaguely.
Also, like for the PS1, right? I was the same stall I got this off. The guy was like, I wanted like an Xbox 360 joypad, and like was
Yeah.
it like proper computer stall. So I was like, how much do you want for this 360 joypad? He was like, oh, just give me a fiver for it. So I was like, all right. So I was
Alright,
like,
cool.
yeah, because like I've only got one joypad, so I needed another one.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, like buried under all the joypads. I was like, how much for the gun? He was like, oh, give me £2 for it. So it was the PS1 shooter gun.
Yeah.
So my mate from work, he's given me like a free chipped PS1, and he's done Time Crisis for me. So I can, because like,
That's awesome.
but the guns only work on the box tellies. They don't work on the new
Right.
plasma, like widescreen. But luckily,
Yeah.
I've got a VHS combo in the garage with my man cave. So I've just been hooking the PS1 up to that and playing Time Crisis on it.
See, that's my partner and I. My partner's also a wrestler. Should probably mention him, old school cool James Blair. And the two of us are both obsessed with like collecting things, and we're currently in the process of trying to sort of sort out a room in the house that's all just wrestling collectibles, and it's all like essentially a man cave for both of us. And we're trying to get one of those combo tellies so we can do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
Going to like have the full sort of authentic experience where we hook up the old consoles to that telly, and then that
yeah,
way we can also watch the VHSs on an old telly, so it's the proper
yeah,
immersive, shitty, grainy experience of of 90s and early 2000s TV.
yeah. Do you know what? Speaking of just keeping on the wrestling subject, I I've still got, well, over like the last years, I still had some, but like I've been buying a few more. I've got from 98 to 99, near enough, near enough the full collection on VHS pay-per-views.
Nice.
Yeah, so when you were mentioning about the King of the Ring, like I've got like the full, near enough the full 2 years worth.
Oh, that's excellent.
So yeah, so in the summer when I'm out in the garage, I just get the barbecue out, King of the Ring, Royal Rumble, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, WrestleMania 15, whatever.
Nice.
You know, just I can just do both. Or I can watch Jerry Springer 2 off the TV. I don't.
Oh, excellent. I used to be obsessed with that. See, Jerry Springer and Ricky Lake. Like, I had
Yeah.
no idea what was going on. I was just a child watching some southern Alabama man screaming about the fact that his cousin might be his baby mama, and I was loving it. I didn't care what was going on. It was just chaotic and it was great. Basically, wrestling without the actual fighting
I know.
sometimes.
I love Jerry Springer. Like, yeah. But right, let's get back to wrestling. Like, let's get back. Like we've strayed off a lot there.
Yes, I do warn people usually. My wrestling and my conversation both do suffer quite badly from me being an absolute ADHD warrior. So yeah, it's just all over the place.
No, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, so for me, growing up, like before the Attitude Era, I was Hulk Hogan all the way. Like I was a Hulkamaniac. I loved it. As soon as he went in, I never followed him once he went to WCW because I was always
Mhm.
a WWF guy. I
Yep.
never really, at the time, obviously, as we lived through it, I never understood the Monday Night Wars. That was something. Looking back on it, like I wish I, yeah, looking back on it now, I wish I did. But obviously, I was only what, about 13, 14 when it was all going down.
Yeah. Like, I had no idea any of that was going on. I was obsessed with DX and somehow did not have any clue that they
Yeah,
were fighting. Like, when they went with the tank into WCW, I was so confused.
yeah,
I was like,
I didn't know, like, get
what's
that at
going on?
all.
Which is like, why have we got a small tank? Fully believed that was a tank as well. I remember looking at that as an adult again and going, that's just a 4x4 with a fake cannon on it. What? I thought that was in my brain, that was a tank. Like, that was an actual tank, and then yeah, watching it back as an adult, after years going, "Oh, I was a stupid child. I was a stupid child."
Yeah, yeah, I was all Hulk Hogan. Then obviously he went into Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando, two class film. Like I still like to watch him. Like Mr. Nanny's hilarious, Suburban Commando. But then obviously the Attitude Era happened, and I was a Stone Cold guy.
Yep,
Al-
same.
Always Stone Cold. My mate recently, well, the other day, just won a bid on eBay for the big Eagle title. But
I was looking at bidding on that.
he got it for £90.
So, I'm not gonna lie, I had a limit set on how much I was willing to spend on that because I was literally looking. I think it might have been the same one because literally it's just finished,
Oh,
like, the other day, yesterday, but, we were looking at one, because, my partner's obsessed with, belts, like, that's his sort of, hyper focus is, different belts and the design of the different belts and the lineage of each different belt and who's had
yeah,
them and when. And he's already got like a wee bit of a collection of belts. And we were sort of looking at, because I love Stone Cold. He was like, "Oh, we should look at getting this one. This one's come up on eBay," and I'm like, "I realistically can't go over a certain amount because I have to
yeah.
pay bills." But I want
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we always said like when we were lit, like because obviously we had like all the fake, but like the toy belts when we were like
Yeah,
growing up. But we always said like if one of us got the big eagle belt, the other one would have to get the smoke and skull belt.
yeah,
So he's got that. So now for my birthday, I'm just going to use all the money I get from my birthday, and I'm going to buy the smoke and skull belt.
quite right.
And that's because to me, like the big eagle belt and the smoke and skull, best two.
Yeah,
That's the team.
there's I made a deal with Carl. Sorry, with James. I basically was joking with him that he could either propose to me with a ring or he could propose to me with China's replica belt. He did eventually go down the ring route,
Oh.
but apparently I might be getting the China belt for an anniversary down the line.
What would you do if he proposed to you with the belt and you said yes, took the belt, and then he hits you with the money in the bank and takes it off you?
See, as long as he filmed it, I'm totally okay with that. If he didn't film it, I'd have been raging. It's like as long as someone gets entertainment out of this happening, I'm fine with it. No point doing stupid things unless someone sees you do it.
Right, I'll get back to my questions now. Right, question time. Right, oh God, where am I? Favorite, right, right, so at what age did you know that you wanted to be a wrestler?
So the age that I knew I wanted to be one and the age that I actually found out I could be one are very different. Um, Basically from the minute I saw wrestling, which might have been about 7, 8 years old, maybe even earlier, I literally was like, I want to do that. that, see that. And I remember my mum saying to me, like, "Oh, we live in Scotland. I don't think they do that here. Like, that's an American thing." And I was just like, "All right, okay. Can somebody start doing that here then? Like, that would be great." Unfortunately, there was a bit of a. I got banned from watching wrestling or participating or playing the games or enjoying it in any way, shape, or form. There might have been a few incidents where myself and my brothers
Do not try
wrestled
this
each.
at home.
Yeah, the final straw was kind of my mum got a new telly, and when I say new, it was new to us, but it was like a family hand me down telly, but it was the quintessential huge 90s television. Like
Big
it
box.
was like wide and it was deep and it was huge and it was fat and it was heavy. And it took me, my mum, and my brother all kind of like helping each other to get this thing up onto the TV unit. Not even 2 hours later, my younger brother, Callum, at the time, decided to run at me in a manner that I felt was threatening. So I've kind of just grabbed him and suplexed him over my head, and he went feet first straight into that television and broke it. So we all got banned from watching wrestling, playing wrestling, no magazines, no cards, no nothing. So it wasn't until years later, like a long time later, that I found out that we actually had wrestling schools in Scotland and it was something you could do. Um, I I did try to go to a school called Source Wrestling in Scotland when I was about, I think, 19. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm a parent and it just, do you know, that way logistically, I was
Yeah.
like, I need to focus on Matthew, my son, just now, and I'll maybe try wrestling again later. I was like, because at the time I was like, yeah, nope, single parent. I need to focus on him as much as I love this and I wanted to do it. I was like, realistically, he needs my time, energy, and attention just now. So we'll do that. And then when he was much older, basically a family member who'd also been training, who actually, funnily enough, used to be called Stone Cold Bobby Roberts. Um, he had actually started his own school in 2018, and that's when I was like, "No, I'm actually going to do it now. Let's go." Like Matthew's older, he's doing his own thing a bit more. Doesn't need as much like laser focused attention. Let's go. Like,
So was
let's
that
do it.
the so when you first started training with say it was your uncle that
Cousin.
oh cousin. So explain your first day there. Like obviously you
Mhm.
tried before, but explain your first day going to that place.
So there's there's a very stark difference between the two first days, because uh, in the time in between trying to wrestle the first time and the second time, I had actually sustained a shoulder injury, gotten surgery, developed fibromyalgia, and I ended up with a walking stick. So the first time I went, fit, healthy, not a problem. Second time I went, I was nearly 20 stone. I had a walking stick. I basically was asked if I wanted to give wrestling a go by my cousin, to try and rehabilitate myself, because it had gotten to a point where I mean, I literally could not walk to the shops and back because of the amount of pain that I was in, and because of the issues that I had going on. And do you know what I tried like literally everything. Everybody's like, "Oh, you need to try yoga, or you need to like do gentle exercise. Tai Chi's great." I tried all of that. None of that helped. None of that helped whatsoever. So I was like, okay, do you know what? I loved wrestling the first time. I just couldn't do it last time. Yeah, I'm a person who likes extremes. Let's just go full head on into trying to throw myself at the ground. Let's go. The first day walking in was terrifying because of, all the aforementioned issues. I was going into something extremely physical when realistically I was the least fit and least able I'd ever been in my life.
Mm.
But I went in with this sort of, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give this every sort of chance. I'm going to just throw myself at it. And I did. And it was the hardest thing I think I've ever done. like at least one of like top 5 at least. And I'm including parenthood in the whole of that. Like, oh my god, I couldn't walk for a full week after. The warm up alone, oh my god, like I forgot how brutal the warm ups are because like you really need to make sure you are warm head to toe, otherwise you're gonna pull something or you're gonna injure yourself.
Mm.
So you really get put through it before you even step in the ring. By the time we actually went to step in the ring, my legs were jelly, like
Oh,
already, like
oh,
full bandy legged like this. Um, but it was amazing. And by the time I could walk again, it was time for the next class.
oh God.
So I'm not joking when I say I spent that full week scooching up and down my stairs on my bum because I couldn't, I couldn't physically walk up and down the stairs. But I kept going back and I just kept throwing myself at it. And after about 6 months ish, I managed to start doing 2 classes a week. And I was only not walking for like 2, 3 days at a time and then rinse and repeat. And do you know that way over time it sort of started to become something that I was like, I might be at I could actually do that. Like I could actually do a show. I think I could do this. Like it's not just exercise now, it's not just trying to get myself mobile now. Like I think I could do this. And I was watching it sounds bad, but I was watching all the people around me who had been training longer than me or training about the same amount of time as me. And I'm going, I know for a fact that I have been through absolute hell and back. So if you can do that in that short amount of time, then I just need slightly longer to get the same thing. I just need to push a bit harder and it'll take me a wee bit longer, but I know I can do that. And then eventually it kind of manifested into I got to debut and then COVID hit. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was sort of a progression of I knew I wanted to do it, I didn't think I could do it. Fuck it, flip it, we'll just try it. Sorry. And then, oh
Right.
my god, I might actually be able to do this.
All right.
Sorry.
So, can you remember like your first bump, like your proper first hit, like proper bump? Like what
Yeah.
was it?
So, it was a back bump, and
Is that where
for context,
the flip you over?
so the way that we do it first is you need to learn how to land safely, before anybody even touches you. It's the same with martial arts judo. Like in judo, one of the first things that I learned when I did it when I was younger was a break fall, which is how
That
you
way.
land on the floor in a way that you're not gonna dislocate your elbows or do things like bruise yourself or um yeah, so it's the first actual bump that you would take is unassisted usually, and it's you having to get over that mental barrier of your body's like telling you, "Don't throw me at the floor. Don't throw me at the floor. Don't do that." But then your brain's going, "But I really want to do this. I really need to do this. So we're going to do this." And for me, I am terrified of going backwards. Like it sounds silly, but even learning to drive, I was terrified of reversing.
Yeah.
So it's a huge thing that I had to get over was just not looking where I was going to throw myself at the ground. It became this thing where like I'm not joking, it literally took me about 6 weeks to fully actually get one good bump because I was so um, scared of throwing myself at the ground. And the thing is, it seems so silly once you've actually done it. You're like,
Mm.
why was I so scared of that? But in fairness, it's just your body is literally geared to tell you not to do what you're doing. Like you're literally going, hey, there's a hard surface, let's throw ourselves at it. And your body's like, no, don't do that. Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? And you're like, wrestling, way, pretty much.
So how long, like since you've started to now, like how long has it took you to like hone your craft in wrestling?
So I would say that I am still honing my craft. I'm a very big believer in that you are never finished learning because there's so many different types of wrestling. Like when you go to each different country, it's ever so slightly different. Everybody's got like a slightly different way of doing things, or different psychology between about why they would do things, or um, different influences from different martial arts in that area. So personally, I never ever finished learning. I'd never want to stop learning. But in terms of training to actually like starting to professionally wrestle, um, I was about a year and a half of training before I had my debut. Well, I always say my first debut because then COVID happened and there was a lot changed during COVID. Um, so it was about a year and a half of constant training and sort of building myself up, and um, for me personally, also getting my body into a place where it was strong enough to be able to withstand doing regular matches. For me, one of the conditions that I have is also a bit of a pain. It's called HEDS, or hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which basically just means that all of my joints are a bit too flexible in the wrong direction. They dislocate a bit too easily, and my connective tissue is a bit
Right.
spicy. Um, the way that I sort of have found to deal with that, ironically, is wrestling, because it's helped me build up all of the muscles around those joints.
Yeah.
So it's actually helped me to strengthen all of the muscles and all of the sort of things around the ligaments and joints, to back those up and help them more. So ironically, throwing myself at the ground repeatedly built up the strength in my joints enough to stop them from dislocating all the time and to stop them from being as fragile as what they were. But it took me about a year and a half to be able to go from everything is kind of just popping in and out willingly, willy nilly, to actually being able to wrestle matches without getting injured and without it being an issue.
Mm.
Yeah, like it's one of those things. I always feel bad when people ask that question. I'm like, oh, you're about to get a really big answer because I had a very different journey to everyone else.
Oh God. So uh, the promotion you're with now, was that your first wrestling company that you've been with, or have you been with someone else before that?
So the company that I started with, I was this yeah, COVID changed a lot of things. So the company that I started with originally was called Respect Pro Wrestling, who have recently just actually opened back up. They had closed for a while after COVID, just due to lots of issues to
Yeah.
do with that.
Yeah.
But that was the company my cousin started. It's now been passed on to someone else, and it's a fantastic company. It's set up in the local area that I'm in, where we don't really have a lot of entertainment based things like wrestling. So it provides like a really good service for the area that we're in, and that it provides local indie wrestling at a really low cost for like families who maybe can't afford to go to like a WWE or can't afford to like get EW tickets or whatever. But yeah, that was the first company that I was with. Since then, I've sort of moved companies a couple of times, but there's quite a few that I work with. There's Worldwide, sorry, I always get this wrong, W3L, Worldwide Wrestling League. Yeah, always get that one wrong. W3L, anyway. There's Attitude Pro Wrestling that we mentioned before. There's also been Valor Wrestling, which are based in Glasgow and Denmark and Sweden. It's like a three-tier company across three different countries. And yeah, at the moment, I'm just trying to get as many different companies under my belt as possible. Like I'm collecting Pokemon.
So who are you with? That you with Attitude Pro Wrestling now, or are you?
So yeah, at the moment, I'm primarily with Attitude Pro Wrestling and W3L.
Oh, thank God for that. Because if you said no there, I was like, I've introduced you all wrong. I was
No, 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 no. It's okay. Yeah, no, those are the two main companies that I'm associated with just now. But to be honest, like I said, trying to collect them all like Pokemon cards. So hopefully one day I will not be a company woman. I'll be every company woman.
yeah, well, that's good to have under your belt, isn't it?
Hopefully.
So is your company is your company based in like one location, or are you like constantly touring like
So
everywhere?
with with APW, they primarily have a main venue that they use, which is set in Rutherglen in the Glasgow area in Scotland. So their shows are usually primarily in the same location, with occasionally they'll have one in another location if it's a charity show or something like that. Whereas W3L is a touring company.
Right.
So they tour all over from the very north of Scotland down to I think about the middle of England. I think the lowest down I've been with them is maybe Newcastle. But yeah, they're more of a touring company. Every company's slightly different. It just depends how they operate or what kind of like wrestling it is that they do. Like, is it camp style wrestling where it's the kind where you go around holiday camps? Or is it more of like indie wrestling where it's like shows you're putting on in different locations? Or are you like a mainstay company where you like have that main venue and you don't really stray from that?
Mm.
So it just depends on what kind of company it is.
Oh well. All right. Okay. Right. So walk me through like the day of an event. Like you're wrestling on the night. Walk me through from walking through the doors. Like
So
what do you do? Like what?
get up super early. Make sure everything's packed because you would not believe the amount of times that one boot has been left behind or one knee pad has been left behind. So double check everything before leaving. Um, Drive to the venue. Usually picking other people up along the way because it always helps to carpool. And basically, when you get there, I think a lot of people think that we walk in and that it's just like everything's set up already,
Is that
or
what you have
there's
to
like
do? Like set the
food.
ring up and put the chairs
Yeah,
and stuff like
like
that.
I think a lot of people think it's like WWE and they have like a full ring crew who all set this stuff
Yeah.
up. But a lot of the time it's just us going in, pitching in. Everybody helps out. We get everything set up, and then you get ready, get yourself psyched up, and then basically go out and do the best performance you can, whether you are sick, not sick, nervous, like anything. You just go. Don't think about it and just go.
Yeah.
At least that's how I get through it.
So is each night like a different feel like with the crowd?
Yeah. So I always like to think. Sorry, I've just shut. I always like to think of the crowd as like the third or other person in a match.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the cinematic matches during COVID. So it was like they were just wrestling. There was no
Oh
audience.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Where they had like all the screens in the background where there was yeah,
Yeah, and like sorry, there was a wee fly there. You could tell the difference in the atmosphere because there weren't people physically there
yeah,
making the noise and sort of creating the vibe. So, like that sort of energy that we get from an audience, it feeds into what we're doing. Like if I go out and an audience just straight up are not giving like 2 cents
yeah,
about what I'm doing. Like if I go out there and I've went, right, I'm gonna do this tonight. I'm gonna be this guy. And I go out there and they don't care. Like there's no one's cheering. The
yeah.
Jimmy over there's on his phone. That kid's too busy playing with his connects that he's brought for some reason. Like then I have to. It's up to me to then be like, no, I need to give you something to react to. Then but then similarly, see if the crowd start reacting to something that I'm doing or something my opponent is doing that's really getting much more of a reaction than we thought it would, then we have to play into that as well because at the end of the day, everything we're doing is a sports entertainment thing. So everything we do needs to kind of feed off what the
Yes.
audience is giving us as much as what we're giving the audience. So we don't have them there, then it's the atmosphere's a bit off. It's not really the same. There's a company actually cannot remember. They're on YouTube, and I'm trying to remember the name of the company. And they only do matches like that. They film it's like a studio, and there's no audience, and they just film in the ring. And the
Yeah.
matches can be great. Like as somebody who enjoys wrestling from a technical aspect and sits and watches it in a way that I break it down and rip it to bits and go, how could I do this or how would I do that or blah blah blah. I can watch it and I love it because I'm looking at what they're doing rather
Yeah.
than it being a sort of entertainment thing. But see, if I was looking at it through the lens of young me who used to watch like Mania 17 and sit there and look at Austin like he was actually God and this was the new Bible. Like, do you know that way when I'm
Yeah.
watching a match that doesn't have any audience or sort of atmosphere round about it, it's not the same and it's very hard to sort of immerse yourself in that story. So it's so important for us to have that kind of feedback with audiences.
Mm. So
So
what like tell me what was it like winning your first title?
It was amazing, and it was a wee bit awkward, and it was it was, um do you know that way it was I'm trying to think how to put it, because it was a lot of conflicting emotions all at once. Because do you know that way it's amazing. It's just straight away childhood dream, like full on, "Oh my god, I'm actually holding one, I won one, oh my god, I actually did it." Even on a small level, like that wee 8-year-old Ruby, sorry, in the back of my head from way back the when is like jumping up and down going, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we did it, ah!" But then there was also that part of me that was trying to be really cool and like, "Yeah, I did the thing," and like try and keep a demeanor. And for some reason, I thought it'd be a great idea to just hit a random cartwheel in the middle of the ring. Totally out of character, not something I would do, not something I would ever normally do in public for any reason. But yeah, I got really overexcited and overwhelmed, and I didn't really know what to do. So I just hit a random cartwheel and then nearly decked it, and then had to jump up and just like, "Yay! Woohoo! I got a belt! Yay! Let's ignore the cartwheel." Mm. The next one, the next title was a lot more dignified of a win. Um, uh, let, yeah, that was the APW title. Was my second title, which I'm raging because I recently lost.
Yeah, I'd seen
And
that. I was gonna like if we'd done this a few weeks ago, I was gonna introduce you as the champ, but you
I
know.
know I, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was not happy with myself that day, at all. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie, I got too angry. I can't even say anything else about it. I got too angry, like legitimately. I went full red mist. I'm going to kill this woman, and because of that, I ended up costing myself the bloody opportunity of
Oh.
staying champion because I got too angry, and then I went for literally she's managed to take that opportunity at the last second because of me being a fanny and too angry, and I'm trying to stay calm and collected about it because it's just wrestling. It's not life or death, like kind of. But yeah,
Oh,
it'll be mine again soon, one way or another. I'll find a way. But like, yes, unfortunately for right now, I'm only one time champion Ruby, not two belt Ruby.
two belt Ruby.
Mhm. We'll get back to it though.
All right. Who's been your biggest rivalry up to now?
Ooh, I've had a couple. I would say Nicole Jasmine, mostly because she's the one that just took my belt.
Oh,
But also, since APW started, we have been the sort of two main women gunning for that belt when it originally came about. And then again, my own hubris lost me the chance to be the first women's champion, which I was also not very happy about. I might have broke a light and slapped somebody on my way out, but I was really annoyed. Just saying, was really annoyed, like really angry. Also, burst my mouth open, so I was a bit touchy. Um, but I mean, for a full year after that, I chased her for that belt. And the annoying thing was the two times that bloody title wasn't in the line, the two only times it wasn't on the line, I beat her. But then every single time that the title was on the line, something happened or somebody got involved or there was some unfortunate incident, and then I ended up not winning it for a full year. So I would say Nicole Jasmine, because honestly, I spent a full year pretty much obsessed with trying to get that off her.
oh God. Right. Well, we're on our final question. I mean,
Okay, okay.
my phone's about to run out in about 10 minutes, so we're on our
Fair.
final question. But right. So, can you see yourself doing this forever, or do you think you'll take the next step in the future and become a coach and help future generations down the line and let them know what you've learned?
So both, to be
Oh,
honest. Um, Wrestling is one of those things. I've very much have aspirations as to what I would love to do. Um, I would love to be able to do this on one of the two biggest stages in the world, whether that's AEW or WWE. I mean, to be honest, it'd be cool to be the first Scottish woman on AEW if possible.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you like watching AEW? Because
yeah,
because when that started, I've always been a WWF guy, but since that has came out, I've switched over.
I'm not
I
gonna
think
lie,
I
I
was
wasn't the biggest fan at the beginning. Like I was a WWF, WWE
yeah.
like loyal, but when
It's
I'm not
just
gonna lie, they
the
sort of
mix
took
of different styles they have in there. That's
well,
but
that's the
the way
thing, they took the feedback
yeah
from the fans. Like WWE's got like don't get me wrong, it works because they are the biggest company in the world, but they have a formula as to how they like to do things.
yeah
Whereas AEW sort of went, right, okay, we're being told by fans that they like this, they like lucha, they like this,
yeah
this, this. Why don't we make sure we've got a bit of this, a bit of this, a bit of this? And then, hey, let's have the Continental Classic, let's have
yeah
the own tournament, let's have and do you know that way they showcase
yeah
so many different types of
yeah.
talent. It's like it's
Yeah.
just fair.
I've always said that AEW is a mix of the Attitude Era and ECW mixed
Yes.
into one. That's how I've
Although I
always.
will say there's 2 matches, recent matches. There was the Swerve Hangman hardcore match
Oh
and
yeah,
the, Mariah
Eagles.
May yeah, and then Mariah May and, Toni Storm. I loved those feuds. I absolutely adored those feuds, but even as someone who's I, like, personally used to be a butcher, the amount of blood in those 2 matches, I had to be like, "Do you know what? I'm just gonna pop and get a cup of tea, and I'll be back in 5 minutes." Yep. Just literally because I got to a point where I was like, "Oh, hmm, that's quite a lot of blood. I'm just gonna get a cup of tea and come back. That'll be fine." Apart from that, amazing. And to be fair, that's literally just a me being slightly queasy issue. If it wasn't for the fact that the amount made me a bit queasy, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is great."
So could you see yourself like coaching years down the line for other people?
Yeah, so something that I've been very lucky to get the chance to do was basically to shadow coaches, and to get to help out with like kids classes, basics, things where I get to help a bit, but not like I'm not taking classes or anything, just helping a bit. And it's something that I really, really enjoy. I so I've always been somebody who was involved in sports or sports coaching or like I used to do like international swimming when I was younger, judo, gymnastics, and all of those things are things that I've sort of came back to in adulthood, to either volunteer at, coach at, help at, and then also they're all things that I've taken into wrestling that help me to be able to help other people in wrestling because sometimes it gives you a bit of a different way of approaching how you would explain something if you've had like several different backgrounds. So it's definitely something I would love to do one day. I do have a friend who keeps repeatedly asking me when I'm going to open up my own wrestling dungeon, but they want me to call it the Slay Grounds.
It's like,
Yeah, they've already like this person is invested in this idea. They have sent me like designs for the way we could decorate the inside. It's all Buffy themed, like the full on like they have ideas for different things, like I said, the sleigh grounds and like I'm like maybe one day, not just now, because right now I want to take over the world, and then once I've done that, then we'll think about like telling everybody else how to take over the world.
um, speaking of book, before we just go, do you have like like Buffy collectibles?
Yes, and for
Yeah,
the next
for
the next one we were
for the
talking,
next.
I will get them because I've got a couple behind me here. And then I also have comics. We have various different things. I'm currently actually bidding on a Mr. Pointy in his original box.
Uh,
That I'm trying to get for the house. But what I'll do for the next live where we're discussing Buffy, I'll get all the collectibles so that I can like bring them
yeah,
in and show you. Because
yeah.
yeah, so I'm
You
obsessed.
don't have to bring every one of them. Just bring like some of your coolest bits.
Yeah, we'll do a couple of wee select bits.
Yeah, but we'll get into all that next time.
Excellent.
But yeah, that is it. That is everything. That is all my questions done. Thank you so much for joining me. Letting me
No
know about
problem.
the
Thank you.
wrestling world, the industry, how you operate and everything like that. I've had an amazing time, a good insight to everything.
Oh, good on
Thank
you.
you once again. So, you definitely us up again for doing a Buffy one, maybe next week
Oh,
or the week
definitely.
after.
Yep,
That's good
sounds
for you.
great.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for coming.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you so much. I don't know if I think you'll have to end your stream. I think.
No problem. I just need to work out how to do that.
I'm not a professional. I'm not a prof- Yep, nah. Oh, no, she's back. Oh, there she's gone. Right, yeah, that was the full live interview with the basic bitch slayer, Ruby Robert. I hope you all had a fantastic time watching it. If you do, or if you guys catch us on repeat, it's completely fine. I'll be sharing it with everyone, and I hope she shares it with everyone who she knows as well. But as always, I have had an amazing time talking to her. Join us again for another live stream in a couple of weeks' time, or next week, or the week after. We'll have to sort that out. And we'll be talking all about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 'cause that's something else I love to talk about. But as always, I'm Antoine Movie Mania. Please leave your likes, your comments, please subscribe, and I will see you in another one. See you later.